Las Vegas, a city that never sleeps, built on spectacle and speed. But once a year, the lights of the Strip meet the roar of Formula One. In this city of entertainment and ambition, a new challenge was born. To bring the fastest show on Earth to the most famous boulevard in the world. This is the story of how it came to life, told by the people who made it possible. Bringing Formula One to Las Vegas was never just about another race. It was about transforming one of the most complex cities in the world into a living racetrack. A 3.8-mile circuit that runs past casinos, through traffic zones, and over the heart of the Strip.
If you think about an NFL stadium, Major League Baseball stadium, NBA arena, you think about the Super Bowl, those typically have maybe a 20 to 45 acre footprint. We have a 450 acre footprint, 10 times the size of what a Super Bowl would be. It's on the level of an Olympic event.
As you can imagine, closing Las Vegas Boulevard, busiest streets around the world, is a challenge in itself. I'm sure you talk with my colleagues about the operations we have to do every day about opening and closing. Oh, we are so proud of our product. And personally, when I see the first helicopter shot on the practice one, and I can see how beautiful Vegas looks with our racetrack, our lighting on it, it just gives me goosebumps.
Every year, a city that never stops must pause, adapt, and reinvent itself for 3 nights of speed. And at the center of it all is the team that made it happen. Behind this spectacle stands a leader who turned ambition into reality. Emily Prazer, Chief Commercial Officer of Formula One and President of the Las Vegas Grand Prix, led the charge to build F1's first fully owned and operated race. Her vision transformed the Las Vegas Grand Prix into one of the most iconic events in motorsport history. This is her story.
Somebody who works behind the scenes in F1, but in one of the most prominent roles, an individual who's the chief commercial officer for Formula One, but also the president for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Please welcome Emily Prazer.
Woo. Thank you for having me. Thank you for flying in.
Thank you. We really appreciate it. This is an incredible space that you guys have built.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Thank you. It's a labor of love.
Yeah.
Obviously, its primary use is for the race, but we work really hard to program this building year round. We're really proud of what we've done here. Las Vegas is the ultimate sports and entertainment destination, but Formula One, we're still relatively new to the US audience and specifically Las Vegas. So having the year-round opportunity to educate has been very powerful over the last year.
Yep.
We do tons of community events here. Obviously, you guys are going to go karting later, which is really fun.
Yep.
We've built an immersive experience upstairs called F1’s, which takes some of the history of the sport, but also gives the fan base the opportunity to design their own Formula One car and sit in Roman Grosjean's car, actually, which is really fun. And then we have merchandise, because here in the US, as everyone knows, merchandise is king.
Yeah.
So we make sure that that's available 24/7.
Yeah.
And we actually built a restaurant, which is all Formula One themed, called Fuel and Fork, which we're quite proud of. So next iteration of that's being built at the moment. We've had to take some of it down to start building the Paddock Club, which is super exciting for the race.
Yeah.
With the view that we open, I think, mid-January in 2026. So super excited by it all.
Let's take a quick pause before we dive back into this episode, because honestly, this entire documentary wouldn't have come together without our partner Notion. When we started building out this Las Vegas Grand Prix documentary, there was pages of interviews, production notes, timelines, and to be honest, it was just total chaos. Notion became our creative garage, and once we added the new Notion agent, it felt like having another producer on our team. I would drop in voice memos or a few bullet points, and the agent would summarize everything, tag the right people, and even pull research from other platforms. Suddenly, weeks of prep turned into hours. Notion brings all your notes, docs, and projects into one connected space that just works. It's seamless, flexible, powerful, and actually fun to use. With AI built right in, you spend less time switching between tools and more time creating some great work. And now with Notion Agent, your AI doesn't just help with the work, it finishes it. Notion Agent can do anything you can do in Notion. It can tap into your Notion workspace, the web, the connected tools like Slack and Google Drive to complete assigned actions end to end, so you can focus on the hard decisions. So if you got a big project like this documentary, or you just want to free up some creative time, give it a try. Try Notion now with Notion Agent at notion.com/tracklimits. That's all lowercase letters, notion.com/tracklimits, to try your new AI teammate, Notion Agent, today. And when you use our link, you're supporting our show.
And it's incredible too. Like we've had a couple of other members of your team now shared their thoughts, and the amount of work that goes into putting on this race.
Yes.
It's crazy.
It
to
is
even
crazy.
fathom.
It is
Yeah.
crazy. But when we are all here on race night, it's completely worth it. I mean, the spectacle that we get to produce here is, you know, without sounding biased, like no other event. Obviously, Las Vegas gives us that platform. The fact it's a night race, Saturday night race, you know, the ultimate fight night, you know. And so we take a lot of pride in making sure the production meets the standard of Las Vegas. It's not a traditional race. We know that. I think the thing that still shocks me the most, and probably my colleagues all over the world, is how good the actual racing is for this particular Grand Prix. You know, it was somewhat unknown. The event around it is a spectacle, but actually the racing is one of the best circuits on the calendar for competitiveness. So that's, you know, very, very unique to have the combination of both. And I think we're now massively finding our feet. We're the first to admit that the first year was rough. We've adjusted the timing now to an 8 p.m. start. So hopefully that has a positive impact for all of the teams and for us and for the city.
Every social media post leaks down to us. The good, the bad, the indifferent. It is important for us to listen to the fan base. It's important for us to listen to the community here that may not be part of the fan base. Because we are in a community that is impacted one way or the other. But I will tell you that as I have moved through the community, the support for F1 is significant. The fact, again, that we put Las Vegas on a global stage like none other every year is huge. And it's hugely important for the economic vitality of Las Vegas.
So all in all, you know, worth the pain.
The first one ended up being, by the way, one of the best races.
Yeah, no, it was incredible.
year.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a rocky start.
Yeah.
And honestly, what would you even say, because you brought up the whole entertainment factor of racing, what would you say to race purists who think that this is all an entertainment, it's all a show, it's not really made for pure racing? What would you say to some fans like that?
I would say that they should come and judge it here. You know, the energy in the destination is significant, but to your point, like I think we had the most overtakes on the calendar. The track has been designed so that it is the ultimate competitive racetrack. It's very, very fast, as we all know. You can't take away the fact you're racing down Las Vegas Boulevard from a entertainment standpoint, but the racing does itself justice. I don't think at this point I feel I need to defend the racing after 2 years. It's super competitive, very fast, and you know you can't predict the winner, which has been obvious in the last 2 years.
And then in terms of your background, Emily, I'm so curious how someone becomes the chief commercial officer for F1. Like, tell us a bit about your background, where you grew up. Like, were you always in F1?
Yeah, so I grew up in the UK, always obsessed with sports and entertainment. Was very fortunate to start my trade at IMG, like most people. They are the best training ground in world sport.
Shout out.
So can't take that away from them. I then went on to work on a project which was Fast and Furious Live. I did a couple of other bits in between that, which gave me some knowledge that was useful to get into Formula One. But I think I took a risk. I went to work for Fast and Furious Live, which was a small production company out of the UK called Brand Events that bought the rights from NBCU to put on this live arena show. And the synergy actually opened the door to F1, because whilst you'd say, how is a live arena show anything like Formula One? It's not. But part of my responsibility was to work with promoters on promoting the events all over the world, or Fast and Furious all over the world. And I was fortunately one day, you know, scrolling LinkedIn as most people do, and I saw a job for a role at Formula One, which was race promotion manager. I was like, what is a race promotion manager? Like, that seems very specific to Formula One. In addition to, I'd always, to answer your question, like, I'd always followed Formula One. My dad watched it every Sunday. So was certainly aware of it, and curiosity got the better of me, really, because, you know, there were never jobs advertised for Formula One ever. You know, my understanding from working with a lot of people that work for Mr. Ecclestone was, you know, it was a very closed group of people. So it wasn't like you ever saw jobs advertised for Formula One. So saw this job advertised, did some research, realized that Liberty Media had purchased Formula One, so there was going to be a revolution per se.
Yeah.
And so fortunately applied for this job on LinkedIn, which is nuts for the record.
Shout out LinkedIn.
Shout out to LinkedIn. They're not a sponsor, but I'm still checking them out. Applied for the job, met Chloe Target Adams, who hired me at Formula One. She was the director of race promotion for a really long time. She'd been in the business for like 15, 16 years when she hired me. Met a guy called Ian Holmes, who everyone knows quite well. He runs our media rights business, and a couple of other people. And it just ended up being the right time for all of us. So joined, my first day on the job was November 2017 in Abu Dhabi.
Oh, wow.
Chloe affectionately handed me a bunch of paperwork and said, go and meet all of the promoters. I was like, okay. So made my way down to Yas Marina circuit, which is insanely cool, by the way. If no one's seen it, you should go. Went down there, met with all the promoters that were there, had loads of meetings, and it kind of went from there.
I was the first female steward in a panel of stewards in F1, so having the challenge and the responsibility to sometimes, impose penalties to the drivers, that was huge. And then also I've been the first and only race director for F2 and F3 as well. So in that sense, I've been very privileged, but it was very difficult times. It was challenging times. I'm talking 15 years ago. Yep. Nowadays, it's changed so much. And LBGP is a great example. We've got Emily Prazer as our CEO and president here in Las Vegas. She does an amazing job here, but also she takes care of the commercial side in London. The majority of our VPs, leadership team are women. So I think the sport have changed a lot. Yep. We still have some work to do, but I think these gaps that we had on the role model side and the pathways that have been covered already.
I think it's very similar to actually, we talked about a year ago to Marta Garcia Lopez, who won F1 Academy, and she's Spanish as well.
Yes.
And she talked in a very similar way about the fact that F1 has made such great advancements, almost compared to any other sport, to bring representation up across the board. You must be very excited about Madrid getting a race.
Of course. I mean, I'm sure they're going to they're going to be busy for the next few months, but I can wait to see how this Grand Prix is going to look like.
Yeah. And then in terms of what more we can do, really quickly, like, is there a particular area that you would want F1 to start to focus on when it comes to diversity, specifically gender diversity? Is there something more that we could be doing next year, for example, with the 2026 season?
Yeah, I think Formula One, specifically F1 Academy, is doing a lot. And I think F1 Academy is filling that gap that we had about what I said, career opportunities, etc. If anyone who wants to be involved with the sport, go to the F1 Academy website. You will see role models of the different areas of the sport, not just drivers, but also engineers, mechanics, race officials. We've got marketing. So you can see clear examples of people that they already made it in different levels, but that's great to see. And also F1 Academy, in addition of the series themselves, they've got the program called Discover Your Drive, where they are planning to bring more women into the sport. They now,
like the grassroots level.
Yes, exactly. And they presented a guide a few months ago. It's a guide that everybody can download online. And then you've got which is the career path, how to train a driver from psychologically, physically. So there's a lot of chapters that they're very good for the next generation. So they're covering that gap. I think what we need at the moment is just get more women in the sport. If you think about single-seaters as a pyramid, with Formula One at the top and karting at the bottom, then you've got obviously Formula 4, Formula 3, Formula 2, and then Formula 1. If you look at the males pyramid, let's say, if you look how many kids do karting, we've got thousands of them. So the chances to have a really good driver making it to F1 and being world champion, I mean, it's going to happen. You know it's going to happen. But when you look at the base of the pyramid for women, we still got much less drivers or young girls that want to take part in karting. And with such a narrow base of the pyramid, the chances to reach the top, they're very, very slim. So that's what we need to do. And that's what F1 Academy is doing that I think is really good. They are feeding that base of the pyramid to make sure we've got more women into the sport. And then one day we're going to have an F1 driver and hopefully a woman who will be world champion. And that's one of the good things from motorsport. I mean, this is one of the very little sports where men and women can actually compete against each other. And it's been proved that it can happen. We had examples in rally with Michelle Mouton driving the Group B rally cars, which insane car. So if she could do it there, or Jutta Kleinsmith winning the Dakar, the most challenging rally. Exactly. So exactly. We've got examples of women that show that it can happen. So it's just a matter of numbers. And then I know that F1 Academy is working very, very hard, but it's also, it proves also on our fan base. F1 did a research a few months ago through our fans, and I think it was around 100K of them. They answered that questionnaire from more than 180 countries, and basically 20 to 23% of them, they're already fans of F1 Academy. So, which is probably makes F1 Academy the second more viewed series in our environment. So it's happening. And if we look at the younger generations, you can see that percentage go even higher to 32%. So we can see that change. It's just a matter of keep doing what we're doing. I think we do a good job. And again, increase that base of the pyramid to get more girls into driving.
Well said. Final question. I'm curious if you were going and karting against Emily Prazer one-on-one here at F1 Drive in Las Vegas. Who do you think would come out on top?
Probably Emily. Because I get way too passionate. So I'm the one who just wants to break the latest. And so I'm sure I'm going to break.
You'll get
That's what I said to you. That's what I probably said to you before. I'm better on the operational side than as a driver. I really like challenges. I really want to win. And sometimes that makes me a bit impatient. So probably I would end up, breaking a bit too late and then making some time there. So hopefully one day, Emily, we got the chance to compete and see what happens. I will let you know.
If we did that, I would love to see that. So that's incredible. Thank you so much. I'm so excited for the Vegas Grand Prix this year. I genuinely think F1 Academy coming, it's going to make a huge dent because Vegas especially is a race that like so many people tune into and so many people fly in from other countries to come to the Vegas Grand Prix as well. So for them to see the women do what they do best is going to be absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. Hopefully they're going to deliver a very good racing as well, and we'll see who wins the championship. And hopefully that will be one of many years of having F1 Academy here in Las Vegas.
100%. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Wow.
And what does your day-to-day look like now?
Well, my day-to-day now, because of the dual role, starts really early in the morning.
Right.
So typically log on around 4:30, 5 a.m. so that I can manage my team in the UK.
Oh, yes.
From a UK perspective, I have an amazing group of people. Johnny Howarth, who heads up sponsorship for us. Donna, who heads up marketing. Lisa, who heads up licensing. Jordan Nicholson, who heads up hospitality. So I have quite a few direct reports in the UK.
Amazing.
We typically speak in the mornings. I come to the office here and get going on Vegas stuff. So timings work, and have to obviously make sure I've spoken to Stefano at least 3 times in that period of time.
Yeah. When you started working for F1, were you mainly in the UK? And then
I was completely in the UK.
Yeah.
Then during COVID, obviously, whilst we didn't stop working, because again, race promotion and the team I was in at the time was very much working with the operations team and others within the ecosystem to figure out how to go racing again. So under Chloe at the time, we were managing, should we put on a race in Mugello? How do we do back-to-backs in Austria and Silverstone and what have you? Myself, Chloe, and a girl called Louise, who now heads up race promotion, who's a dear friend of mine. And we would be on the phone for hours kind of putting a plan together and then realise that the government rules had changed and have to pivot completely. But during that period of time, we thought, well, this is a great opportunity to really dig in on the Vegas side because Vegas is going to need something when it reopens post-COVID. There are a lot of complexities that went into that, but essentially what we started doing was, mining the market, talking to the casinos, setting up meetings with the government here to try and figure out the best way to put on a race. Steve Hill from the LVCVA was incredibly supportive. And there was a moment in time whereby we got the approval to come to the US for the Austin race. You had to have a special sports exemption. So we used the opportunity then to meet for the first time face-to-face after many, many phone calls. That was like September 21. With the view that we then decided we were going to announce this thing by March 2022, which was crazy. And when we were working through all of that, it was identifying, the piece of land we're sitting on right now as we're going to build a paddock building and going to Liberty and saying, please, can we have some money to buy land, build a building and do what we need to do? And for those that don't know, this is the only owned and operated Formula One race. Every other race is run by promoters. the reason why I think it was useful for me is, having worked in that promoter team for 5 years and been to all of the races on the calendar, I could take all of their learnings and try and put it into something here. But the support from the locals, the casinos, like I said, Steve Hill specifically, made this whole thing happen. I don't think there's another place on planet Earth that could have done that so quickly, but also welcome us with such open arms, obviously. And again, won't take away from the fact there's been difficulties and we've addressed all of those, but this town has the ability to switch things on like nothing I've ever seen.
Right.
And so really quickly we found, working with Formula One engineers, the best track layout, as we touched upon, and started building from there.
Yeah. And even mentioning that 3 races in the US, what makes Vegas so different?
Well, I think to answer your question slightly differently, all 3 US races have a completely different identity, and we massively complement one another. Miami, you're in Miami, Austin, you're in Austin, and Vegas is Vegas. So I think all 3 of them are special in their own right. So we don't take away. And, credit to Austin, because they saw the opportunity before any of us. They jumped right in. I think it's 15 years now? And that might be wrong. So might need to fact check how many races.
Let's give a range, 10 to 15.
10 to 15 years. But they really saw the opportunity for something quite unique and grow it. And I love the fact that race is, a hardcore track. Like, it's not a street race. There is nothing that can take away the fact that is a proper track. They were also one of the first to use, talent and entertainment and what have you to really build a full event week. So push the tradition, and they did it in their own way. And we have so much admiration for the foundations that they set for us. Then Miami came on board, and obviously I was part of the team that helped to get the Miami deal to the table. So I feel very affectionate towards that race as well, because again, working with the Dolphins and understanding how Americans view our sport and how they took it to that next level has been really, really effective in how we have built Vegas, because they did it for a few years before us. They are very much partners in how for the sport to be perceived in the United States. So they worked with us and they helped us and we helped them, and we spent a lot of time with them, especially in the build up to their first race, and they did the same for us in the build up to our first race too. So contrary to any belief, we are all very good friends. In my dual role, they're also our biggest clients. Collectively, the promoters bring in the second highest revenue stream for Formula One. So they're super, super important. And I think, again, without that foundation and spending so much time with all of them, I don't think Vegas would be what it is today.
And it's clear, obviously, that Formula One is prioritizing the US, right? Like, you guys have your HQ here. Was that an entire plan that was very intentional, or is that fairly organic, just with like how things have,
well, from the day I started, the 2 kind of strategic growth markets for Formula One were always China and America. Obviously, COVID, China slowed down somewhat, but prior to me moving to Vegas, I think I was going to Shanghai twice a month. Like, it was a real opportunity for growth. I think organically it's happened because of the Vegas race and the opportunity here. Obviously, hopefully people have seen that we've started signing many more American brands and consumer focused brands that without the 3 US races and without the learnings we've had, we wouldn't be in a position to be doing. And the reason they're so important, and the reason why, HQ is always going to be London, but our North American office is obviously in Vegas, because we have 150 people here that are putting on a Grand Prix. But what Vegas has done is really served as almost a test bed for those American sports. So we've gone American brands, we've gone in and spoken to them and said, this is our vision. How do you help us bring it to life? And a couple of very specific examples of that were, when I first moved here with my background, which is very heavily on the sponsorship side and the licensing business, I wrote down a list of like, here is my dream. These are the sponsors that I want to come in to help me build the Las Vegas Grand Prix alongside the casinos. Because again, to reiterate, we would not be here without them. So they are the absolute fundamentals, the casinos and the LVCVA, that are essentially sponsors of us being here. But on the brand side, Formula One, we signed American Express and we signed T-Mobile, both of which were totally and completely, without them, we would have had really big problems. American Express on the basis that whilst Formula One is 75 years old, as we've all learnt this year, we've not done this before. We don't sell tickets. To my earlier point, we license the rights to promoters. So I moved here, had absolutely no database, no sales team, no nothing. And so when I said, who do I want to be able to sell tickets for me? They were 100% the people we wanted to work with.
Right.
So we approached them with a bunch of renderings and said, here's the dream. Do you want to buy into it? And they actually did. And the success story of that is they bought into it. We delivered. They taught us a lot about how the NBA do it, the NFL do it,
Yep.
et cetera, et cetera. So we took a lot of advice from them. T-Mobile did the same thing. You know, we're a temporary racetrack that needed 5G because all of our tickets are digital and all of those things that you'd expect. So there was a lot of thought that went into it, but that has almost triggered this opportunity to bring in even more. So I don't know if you've seen, but we just announced Pepsi.
Yeah.
And Pepsi have brought Gatorade into the sport to sponsor the sprint and doing a ton with F1 Academy.
Yeah.
And so, again, as you see what we're doing, you know, it's kind of an evolution from we've got this tentpole race in the US that we are owning and operating as Formula One.
Yep.
Help us build it because we need your help. And then let us provide value back for you across the wider championship, which we're seeing.
And I will say you guys are so creative.
Thank you.
With how you like intertwine brands. It doesn't always feel forced.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't feel like, you know, you're randomly just slapping a logo on like a piece of real estate. It feels very intentional how the two teams come together. I know we met in Miami when we were talking about Lego. I mean, that's been one of the best activations because I think so many fans are like, this is so creative.
I think the funnest part of that was seeing the drivers' reactions to the Lego cars. But actually, you know, credit to Stefano because he gives us that opportunity to be creative. No single deal we do is ever the same. And we take an approach of we appreciate contracts, we know what's on paper, and we're never going to go away from that. But we have a wide-ranging ability to dictate and do what we want to do with our brands. As long as they are bought in and they understand it, you know, that's where the ideas come from. It's you're never going to come up with those ideas in an initial contract negotiation. So we take a lot of pride. And again, Johnny leads the sponsorship group and we work really closely together and say, should we go and pitch this idea to whoever it might be, Lego or what have you, and say, why don't we try it? And we're really fortunate that the roster of sponsors and licensees we have are really into it. So we'll keep pushing those boundaries. And I think you'll see some stuff here in Vegas in November that no one's done before.
Okay.
I can't wait.
Little tease.
Stop it. But honestly, even talking about like these sponsorships and alignment with brands, what does that process look like? How long is this going to take? Does it take like 10 months, a year to get someone from a brand pitch all the way to getting them here?
I mean, every sales cycle is different. I would say it takes us a good year. In some instances, it's less. And I also think, you know, when we take brands a good idea, it doesn't take a long time for them to say yes or no. But I do think, you know, we're being pushed to level up by the types of brands that are coming into the sport. And, you know, not just the few I've mentioned, but, you know, the benefit of bringing in the likes of Tag Heuer and Moet Hennessy as an example is they have some of the history as well. So it's not necessarily all kind of new creative ideas, but we also get to talk about the past, which is really fundamental to, again, the education of the new fan base that we've now got, particularly in the United States.
Right. And you aptly pointed out, obviously, that Formula One does not usually promote any race.
Yes.
Vegas is unique in that element. What surprised you and your team about coming in and promoting a race?
Honestly, the complexity of putting it on, it sounds really naive, but as a business, like I said before, our promoters make our lives and our jobs really easy because they take on a lot of the hard work and we show up a couple of days before the race and see it all. The surprise was just the complexity. For Vegas is unique, you know. It's a street race that closes down one of the busiest roads in North America. So the complexity from a race operations perspective, I believe you've spoken to Terry.
Yeah.
He's the man on that stuff, so I won't steal his thunder. But he, you know, the planning that goes into the opening and closing of the track here and the technical side of what we needed to do outside of, you know, figuring out what the racetrack looked like and building this building. He and that team have worked miracles because I don't think any other race, well, I know no other race opens and closes the track that regularly. And I think, again, testament to the confidence that we have in the ability to do that, but it's very, very unusual.
It's also interesting when people think about the race, they don't necessarily realize that the only permanent facility in the race is the building we're in. Everything else is temporary that we build and take down, from the circuit track barriers and lighting, to the hospitality suites, to the grandstands that we build, to the fan activation zone. So it is a large undertaking.
For multiple reasons. We don't want to make this any harder for people to get around.
Yep.
So yeah, I think for me that's been the biggest learning, is just the naivety of, oh, let's do a race it on Las Vegas Boulevard, and then go, and we need Terry to help us do that.
Yeah. And it almost feels like every year Formula One's like stepping up in
Yes.
terms of popularity.
Yes.
Like we all thought, okay, well, Drive to Survive, it cannot get bigger than this.
Yeah.
And then the F1 movie comes
Yes.
out and becomes, the highest grossing sports movie of all time, the highest grossing movie Brad Pitt has ever done.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Which is incredible. But like, how do you see all of those elements contributing to the brand's expansion? And then again, is this all part of a master plan? Like, or is this just stuff you guys are figuring out?
I would say it's definitely part of a master plan, but it comes back to the leadership of Stefano and the confidence he's installed in us taking some very calculated risks.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when he came to say to us, I've just met with Apple and we've agreed that we're calling the movie F1, some of us nearly fell off our chair.
Right.
Because we were like, but what if the movie isn't good?
Yeah.
And what happens then?
Yeah.
But,
I was actually more concerned about the sequel.
yeah.
Like, what do you call F1 2?
I'm not commenting on that one.
We got to get Stefano.
Yeah, you need to get him on here. Like I say, the confidence of the leadership to let us take calculated risk, I think, is what is giving us a competitive advantage right now.
Yeah.
As you pointed out, we're very creative, but we go to him with ideas. I'm not sure if you saw what we did at the O2 in February.
Yeah.
February.
For sure.
The launch.
The launch event. And
Mhm.
he gives us the latitude to do it. We have to prove all of the reasons why, and like any business. But I think we're quite unique in that we are very, very flexible, and we do things based on where we are at any point in time, and we have the ability to deliver. And if, take Vegas as an example, delivering this has given us the confidence to take more risks in that regard, like the O2 on a smaller scale, but still incredibly difficult to put on an event with all of the different teams and what have you. So the movie is a great example of us doing something. It took a long time to do, obviously. So again, it wasn't like it happened last week. This has been in the works for a really long time. It was a natural step where we are getting a little bit more sophisticated, which I think was something that's taken us some time to figure out, is actually more on the back of house and data side. To your point, Drive to Survive has helped us grow exponentially. How do we talk to that fan? What do we do with that data? How do we engage with them differently to the hardcore fan in Europe? And so you take the movie following and go, right, how do we capitalize on that from the success of the movie? Yeah. It's not just about how many people went to see the film. It's what are we now doing with that fan base and making sure that we appeal to them on a daily basis. And so a lot of our strategy is about this 365 days always on mentality, which is nothing new in sport. If you look at, again, the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, whatever it might be, somewhat different again to Europe, but what being here has taught us is, like, you go into every shopping mall in North America and you can buy team merch, NFL merch, whatever it might be. And so a lot of our strategy is around brand awareness and extension. Through our sponsors, of course, like I talked about before, and through our licensees. But how do I make sure that every shopping mall in North America has some form of touch point with Formula One? So Lego is a great example of that. What we've done with Mattel and Hot Wheels, how Tag Heuer are presenting themselves. Every shopping mall you go into, you can see start lights at the front of their store. Karting, like you're seeing here, we're planning on expanding across North America. F1 exhibition, like you've seen upstairs, but that is now traveling all over the world very successfully. F1 Arcade is opening at Caesars Palace, but has had an unbelievable pickup in other US states and in London. So I think where we've shifted our mentality is from just racing on a Sunday to having these touch points and accessible touch points for people to be able to go and interact with our sport in a way that they haven't in the past.
Wow. And honestly, you kind of already answered this, but take you from now 5 years down the road, what does F1 Las Vegas looks like to you? What's that grand plan you have for it?
If you guys make it bigger every year.
Exactly.
I mean, I think there's a genuine sentiment that we want to keep over-delivering from a spectacle standpoint. For me, it's about taking it from a 3-day event into a Super Bowl style week for Las Vegas. I think you'll see snippets of that this year with the business summit that we're doing. We have the golf tournament that we're doing and a few other pieces, official after parties and what have you. I think it's that 5 years time, I just want the awareness to be there of what we're doing. I don't think that the race needs to massively evolve. I think it's making sure that we continue to innovate, continue to engage the fan base as much as we possibly can, and that the investment we've made in the local community here is paying dividends. You know, we want to go into schools and see them wearing F1 t-shirts and that they're real fans of the sport.
Final few questions here. If you could add a F1 race anywhere in the world, where would you want that to be?
That is a really good question. New York.
New York. Okay. Central Park.
Central Park.
Central
It will
Park
never
race.
happen.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, go
I was gonna say outside of the US.
Outside of the US, I'd love to see Thailand come to fruition.
Nice.
Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about it, but I think that would just be spectacular.
Amazing.
And then last question is maybe more and more on a lighter note, but you obviously lived in England. You came to Vegas now. You live in America. Is there anything you missed back about England?
Chocolate.
Sunday road. Oh, okay, no.
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
English chocolate. 100%.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That also came really quick.
Yeah.
It's a topic of discussion on a daily basis in our office.
I was expecting like Sunday roast or
No,
something. but
no. There's nothing that beats Cadbury's in the UK, and the Cadbury's in the US is not the same. So,
Okay, well, next time we see you, we're going to bring you a
No,
bar.
thank you. Appreciate
I
it.
wish we knew.
Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
All right, quick pit stop here because we've got something you will actually want to hear. This episode is brought to you by Everplate. Think you have to spend big bucks or hours in the kitchen to make food at home? Think again. Everplate brings you restaurant quality meals at a price that will actually surprise you. I tried dishes like their crispy buffalo ranch chicken and their barbecue beef quesadillas, and they tasted so good. You get everything you need in one box with clear, easy to follow recipes that will take you about 30 minutes or less. What I really like is how it keeps dinners interesting. Every week there's something new, so I'm not stuck cooking the same 3 meals on repeat. And honestly, it costs less than my weekly grocery bills. If you're busy or on a budget or just tired of takeout, Everplate is the simplest way to eat well without the stress. I use it, and so should you. So what are you waiting for? New customers can enjoy this special offer of only $1.99 a meal. Go to everplate.com/podcast and use a code TRACKLIMITS199 to get started. Discounts apply to your first box. Limited time only.
When the lights of Las Vegas fade and the city becomes a racetrack, what happens behind the scenes is a feat of precision.
If you think about an NFL stadium, Major League Baseball stadium, NBA arena, you think about the Super Bowl, those typically have maybe a 20 to 45 acre footprint. We have a 450 acre footprint, 10 times the size of what a Super Bowl would be. It's on the level of an Olympic event, and we do it every year.
Our department of sporting and race operations take care of different areas here in the sport. The first one is the track construction. We also take care of the paddock, the support series. We help Formula One with some of the compounds, like the broadcast compound and other areas needed to conduct the race. And we also actually take care of the marshals and training all of them. So as you can imagine, closing Las Vegas Boulevard, one of the busiest and more busiest streets around the world, is a challenge in itself. I'm sure you talk with my colleagues about the operations we have to do every day about opening and closing. It's a challenge in itself, but we are so proud of our product. And personally, when I see the first helicopter shot on the practice one, and I can see how beautiful Vegas looks with our racetrack, our lighting on it, it just gives me goosebumps.
Our track, unlike any other track, has to be open for the public use every day of race week, which means that we open and close 44 different openings every night. We go out on the roadway and we close down the track so that we can ultimately race. And there are 44 openings that we have to close. Right after the race, we have to reopen those 44. And we do that 5 times during the race week. So it's a spectacle. Some say it's a symphony, and all the people are in the right places as we make the work happen. But it's pretty amazing.
And then when challenges do arise, like how do you navigate that? And specifically, I guess going into your role, what does that look like on a day-to-day basis before and even during the race?
Communication. Communication is key. Communications with the properties, because from year to year, properties change. They may tweak their entrances off of Las Vegas Boulevard. They may have a whole construction program that they're doing. And so communication with the individual properties is essential. Communication also with the elected officials so they can understand and they can speak to their constituents. And then we have a whole bevy of stakeholders, as we refer to them, which are government agencies, whether it's the police department, fire department, that we stay connected to. So we have a contact list that is pretty long, and we're never at a point where we can't communicate to somebody and get some action taken to the benefit of both sides.
Because I think you mentioned it, right? The Vegas Grand Prix is so unique because unlike most other tracks where it's a bit secluded, you're in the middle of a city that literally never sleeps. That's what
Correct.
it's known as, right? Like
Correct.
a city that is buzzing at all times.
Correct.
And you need to work with every single stakeholder to make sure that they're good with what's happening here. So I almost feel like a lot of what you guys are doing is kind of managing a race, even like way before the race has even started.
We are, and
Yeah.
one of the things that we're doing to mitigate the intrusion into what are the businesses around, we do all our work at night on the roadways. We try and make sure that we leave all the lanes of traffic open that we can, and then we build and we do lane closures at nighttime to do all that work. The other thing that people don't recognize is that when we do our track, when we close our track,
Yep.
we are encompassing about 35,000 hotel rooms. So we actually build temporary vehicular bridges so that those customers can still come in, emergency units can still come into the center of the track, and so that we can still manage the flow of both those safety concerns as well as just the customers.
As you can see, really cool
Wow.
things. We do really cool things here, but really challenging things as well. And that's one of my favorite things here from Vegas. This is a challenging race, probably the most challenging race in the F1 calendar, but I absolutely love it. I feel so proud of being part of this project.
The Las Vegas Grand Prix is not built overnight. It is crafted through teamwork, planning, and resilience.
Well, the economic impact of the Grand Prix is huge. It's nearly $1 billion a year. It's a different comparison than most events because Formula One owns their venue. They spend months erecting the race and then tearing it down. That's different than other events. So comparing it to others probably isn't the best way to think about it, but it is clearly the biggest annual event that we have in Las Vegas every year. The local response to the race has really improved over the last couple of years. The first year was understandably difficult. It took 8 months to build the circuit and then to reconstruct the roads and build everything that it takes in order to put that race on. Second year, the logistics were substantially better, and we're making improvements in year 3. And all of that has made it a lot easier on all of the workforce that goes in and out of Las Vegas Boulevard every day, and has really helped the community embrace the race. Well, we certainly see the race being a permanent fixture in Las Vegas. It has transformed November for us, let alone just a weekend that used to be a slow weekend in Las Vegas. It's important from an economic standpoint, from a fiscal standpoint, that the race stay, and it means a lot to Las Vegas. It also means a lot because it is our best international marketing. There's no way in the world we could afford the eyeballs that are on Formula One in Las Vegas every year. So all of that matters to us. And there are benefits once we can say that it's a permanent race. We can build things more permanently that will make it better for Formula One and better for the community both. And so we know that it's going to be a permanent fixture in the city, and we're really looking forward to that.
For the people behind it, this is not just a job. It is a passion that lights up an entire city. The future of Formula One is bold, diverse, and electric. From Las Vegas to Miami, from Austin to the world.
I think there's a genuine sentiment that we want to keep over-delivering from a spectacle standpoint. For me, it's about taking it from a 3-day event into a Super Bowl style week for Las Vegas.
When lights out happens and you hear the cheers of the fan and you see the people standing in our paddock club watching the grid as they take off, that's the moment.
It's important from an economic standpoint, from a fiscal standpoint, that the race stay, and it means a lot to Las Vegas. It also means a lot because it is our best international marketing. There's no way in the world we could afford the eyeballs that are on Formula One in Las Vegas every year.
In Las Vegas, nothing is ordinary. The City of Lights has become the City of Speed. Emily, Silvia, and Terry have turned a dream into reality. The Las Vegas Grand Prix is more than a race. It is the future of Formula One, written in lights.